I gotta change my background.
Oh, okay. You do that.
You know how I have to,
Yeah,
just
I know how
make
you
it look
is.
pretty. I've been having fun finding public domain movies.
Really?
Yeah, this is one of them. House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price.
Now I have a question for you. Now Disney was the one that Walt Disney Corporation is the company that screwed up uh, the
Yes.
uh, the copyright laws. Uh, so what is it? It's at 70 years now, right?
Yeah, I think it's 70. But Disney, it's weird you bring up Disney because I was confused by the fact that they still own the rights to like likenesses of certain characters and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I don't know how characters could be different things. Stop it. Where'd you go? Hello?
I'm gonna use
Wow.
that for
Yeah,
my voice for my face. Like,
was it, yeah, there you go. Was this something I said? Oh yeah? No! Screw you, you black and white beast! That's enough of that.
I've seen that movie, but I don't remember it. But anyway, no, the whole thing confuses me as far as Disney goes because
Well, it's like we have a song. I have a song for called "In the Pines," which is a song by. I was going to say Muddy Waters, but it's not. But Leadbelly. It's a Leadbelly song, and it was written and released in 1945. And I think that we can actually use that copy of it. We can on the film,
oh, that's cool.
right? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure of it. Yeah. The thing is I, when you're talking to a bunch of film people, you're just talking to a bunch of morons who don't know anything. It's like it's like if opinions, if strong opinions stank,
Yeah.
whew, it'd be pretty awful. In any conversation involving film people, it would stink pretty bad. So
Well, I'm a
anyway,
free use kind of guy. If I had a song that I recorded and people were stealing it, I'd be like, fine. It gives me more exposure. Whatever. I don't care.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, but you know what exposure is worth these days? Yeah, yeah,
That's
1 to
true.
10. Yeah,
I just want to expose myself to
I just
people.
wanted to expose myself.
I mean, not like that, but I want to get some
I mean,
exposure.
oh, 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 not like that. Oh,
I wanna
get some
I
exposure.
want to get some exposure,
Well,
not give it.
there's certain streets you just walk down, and you get exposure.
Well, that's why we're doing this podcast, so I can talk to those 5 listeners.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
one of them might be important. Who knows? Maybe he'll
Oh
like me.
well,
He or
yeah.
she
How
will
about
like me.
the ones in Sweden, right?
Right. Oh, maybe there's a Swedish ambassador or something that's watching
Yeah,
us.
there you go. You never know. So,
His house.
his house. What an interesting film.
This one has an okay description, I think. A refugee couple makes a harrowing escape from a war-torn South Sudan, but then they struggle to adjust to their new life in an English town that has an evil lurking beneath the surface. So,
Yeah, let's see. I was looking for. Is this a British production?
the only way I can figure that out is by going
It's
to
really
the
hard to tell.
cast and crew. Are there a lot of British names?
I couldn't figure out if it was filmed in Britain or filmed there.
That's a good question.
Oh, go down, go down, go down. Let's see who the producer. Okay. Stuart Mash. Wow, just really hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have to say, the complexity of this film was just really cool.
Well, this was I was shocked by this because I went into this expecting nothing. Like,
Right.
I was like, okay, I don't know what to expect, but it looks kind of cool from the picture, and like I saw the little bit of the preview, the trailer or whatever. You know how it plays automatically on Netflix.
Right.
But I was like surprised. This is like one of the best ones I've seen on Netflix as far as horror goes. Not
Oh,
to give it
yeah,
away how I
and it's-
feel now,
It,
but
it,
oh,
and
it was
the thing
shot.
is-
Okay, it was shot on a housing estate in Tilbury in Essex. So yes, it was
yeah,
shot in Britain.
so it was shot in Britain. Yeah. it just had such a great feel to it. I mean, it now obviously the apartment that you're in uh, is obviously a set
Yeah.
because they did such cool things with it. The thing is that they did so many cool things with the set and cool things that were just so easy and yet so cool. You know that it's funny if you're using a set. This film is a perfect example of, you would walk in and you go, okay, this is a great apartment and all, but this is going to have to be a set, right? Because I mean, it gave you so much freedom to do some great tricks. Like, for instance, remember when we were looking at them at the table, and then
Yes.
they do this one shot and they pull back and the wall, it's just cut out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That
the
was
rest
great.
of it is sitting in a lake.
Yeah, that was
Right?
like very Nightmare on Elm Street-ish.
It was. That's I
Dream
mean,
sequence,
God,
yeah.
how many times on Nightmare on Elm Street 3 did I use exactly the same technique? And a lot of the techniques were that way. When you can start to deal with all the space that's behind there,
Yeah.
like or deal with three-dimensional space. That there was a really interesting shot that he turns around and you look, he's in the living room and he's talking to somebody that's like just in the hallway where it's black,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you think that voice is coming from right there, and then you see a little flicker of light, and you think that flicker of light is like a lighter, and then you realize that they put the set outside, and they've lit a fire, like a full, campfire kind of fire,
Yeah.
and they've just done it so far away that it just looks like, and then you start to go to it. You're like, oh wow, I mean, this is I love those kind of gags.
Well, it was like, yeah, I mean, I kept thinking of Surfing in the Rainbow and like
Oh yeah,
Evil Dead and Nightmare on Elm Street, of course, but yeah, the dream sequence, the only thing that's missing is Freddy. Like, fourth right through you. I don't know, whatever he says, but no, actually, I think this is a bad description. I would describe this as having a movie about terrible neighbors.
yeah,
or having a
they were the
conscience.
terrible neighbors. That's right.
Having an actual conscience is one too. Like,
Yeah.
certain politicians wouldn't understand, but they would
Oh
like this
yeah,
movie.
that was also kind of cool. I mean, that it kind of made you feel like the system kind of was working.
Yeah.
Also, the woman. The woman's acting was so cool. I mean, because they gave her a really great arc.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of surprises. Well, a few
Yeah.
surprises here and there.
No, there were a lot of surprises. I mean, by the end of it,
Yeah.
I had no idea what I had seen. I just knew that it had come around.
Yeah. Well, one thing I really liked about this is it actually scared the crap out of me in a couple places, which I was surprised by. Like the first scare, and then right after that, another one. I mean, it's
Right.
like the timing was just not normal, so it actually scared me more than usual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Also, the editing was a little bit different.
The sound
the
design was great. Yeah.
The editing of the scene seemed to go two
Yeah.
beats and it'd go beyond, and it would linger, and it would like the master. They would cut back into the master again,
Yeah.
and then they would back out of it. That was kind of the interesting thing is we were going. It's a very American thing to always be cutting into and moving in on the scene, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You look at like films.
You mean like setting up a scene, like, wide shot, and then
Right, exactly. And the thing is when you have all those shots together, there's an old trick of like doing that on the close up to keep moving in and moving in, and you never move out.
right. Yeah.
Right? That's it's you might cut to a two shot again, but even rarely do you do that. Usually you keep moving in until the end of the sequence, right?
Unless you're Quentin Tarantino.
Well, yeah, but the thing is I noticed more of a fluidity in how these shots, because you would go in, the camera would work you in, and then what you thought would normally be the dynamic range of like the end of the scene beginning of the next scene wouldn't work that way. All of a sudden you would just hold, and there would be tension. They would maintain the tension and then open the scene back up again on that tension. So it kind of never gave you a natural resolution of the tension. You know,
yeah.
you ended scenes and you were just as tense as you were when you
Yeah,
were in the
yeah.
middle of the worst part of it.
Especially after a big like a scary scene. Like, well, there's one scene. The sound really got me on one where they did like footsteps, and you hear like a mama in the background, and then
Right.
you hear a knife noise, and you hear like dishes, and then it's like a lot going on. It was
Yeah.
I didn't really know what was going on. And I love the dark doorway. It's just so simple, like having a doorway with nothing in there. Like,
Right. Exactly. Or just looking like that woman, the woman in it, just looking at her face.
yeah,
Her face and the way that they would come in and out of it was so, like, sometimes they were high.
yeah, yeah.
Camera angle is never quite the same as you came on to her, which was just really super interesting.
And there was kind of a dream sequence with her, which was really intense. Yeah,
Really,
yeah,
really intense. And in fact, the full room of actors that was in that, kudos, man.
yeah.
Because there was especially one woman in there that was just giving you I mean, the black woman side eye.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, ooh, that's some mean stuff, boy.
Well, there was one scene I thought was kind of weird though that didn't really fit, or maybe I don't know, it bothered me a little bit. It was they were eating dinner, and your wife is like telling you this really, or your fiance or whatever she is telling you this really scary story, and then you hear a really loud noise in the other room, and you look to a dark doorway, and you're just like, so anyway.
So
like,
anyway,
that's kind of how it was. I'm like, okay, so I mean, maybe that's a sign that it wasn't reality.
I saw. Well, you know what? I saw that. I was thinking that could have had to do with the place that they were in their heads.
Right. Yeah.
Here, that their past to this point hadn't been exactly peaceful.
Right.
So it's like, oh, there's somebody getting shot in the corner.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
could you pass the beans?
I guess it makes sense because he was doing something that it was part of that dream sequence, obviously. So
Right.
That makes sense.
Right.
I didn't think about that way.
No. Now, I highly recommend this film.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it is, seek it out. Let it creep you the hell out.
Did you notice when the white guys came to visit, the room got really bright?
Yes.
I was like, wow, they make a difference.
Wow.
You really light up the place. No, but I thought it was great because it did remind me a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street in places. And then I love the scenes that look like Evil Dead or Surfing in the Rainbow where things were coming out of the ground and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole beginning, too, was interesting because their background, I mean, you got to think about post-traumatic stress syndrome and all the things that
Right.
could happen when you...
And you know what? The thing is how they told the story in very few shots.
Yes.
They just laid it out and it was there. Well done.
And this is like last week's movie. It's
Yes.
a theme. It's like you do something
It
horrible
is.
to somebody, and you pay for it later on.
Exactly. Look at what happens.
It's a human story. It's about loss. It's about grief. It's about guilt. It's about terror. It's about struggle.
It's about two men in
with
outer
relationships
space
with other people. About it's drama that dances in horror. I don't know. I was just kind of I was coming with
like
ways to
that.
say that. It's drama that kind of
dances
is
in
kind of horror, but not
horror.
really. It's kind of like it's more of a drama, a psychological drama, really. And then it has some horror in it.
I liked it actually better than the last one. I mean, considering that it was like so small and not particularly polished, I would have to give it a 3.8.
So I gave the last one too high of a rating then.
I think you really did.
I should have given it a 3.8.
You should have.
Because I would give this a 4.
Brown Space Films.
Easily.
Oh,
Strong
yeah,
4.
easily.
A very strong
Easily.
4. But I think it's one of the best choices on Netflix, especially in horror.
Absolutely.
And you can relate to it because of the pandemic, because people are dealing with new situations, and there's
Right.
a lurking presence there, which is COVID.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was thinking about that because I'm like, yeah, I'm working at home now, which is different, and then there's this thing lurking out there. It's kind of similar.
Which is going to get you.
Anyway,
One thing that you did point out that I had a little story about. You were talking about the white faces came into the room and they had to rebalance the lights for it. Right?
I think I know the story. This is a good one.
Yeah. I did a show called Mantis. And at the end of the show, and Mantis was like an all, but and not the Canadian one, but the American one. That it was like all black.
You were
the
the
whole
white
crew
guy.
was black. I mean, I was the white guy.
Yeah.
There was only one other guy. That was the other white guy, and I was one, and he was the other. I forgot what he was a production manager or something. And so we we took at the very end of the last day of filming, they took everybody and they put us up on the side of the studio. You've seen those pictures before. They look around and see if they can find a staircase, an exterior staircase, and line everybody up. And they took a picture of the whole crew, right? And they put them out in black and white. And I got mine in the mail because they used to. This is a real picture.
Right, back in the day.
And
yeah.
back in the day, and I got mine in the mail like maybe 2 weeks later. And what it was just me in a sea of black faces, a glowing white orb, because the latitude of the film had to be adjusted for one to the other, and they are in being black. You were always like the 3 or 4 black faces in amongst 50 white faces, and there would be no detail in the black. It'd just be like holes.
Yeah,
black holes, and now I got to see the reverse of that. When there were like 60 black faces and me standing in the middle of it, and I was just there was no detail.
You were an angel.
It was just like yeah, I was just glowing. It was hilarious. I loved it. It was.
That says something about the photographer, because I think even back in the 80s, I think you probably could adjust for that. But just saying.
Well, the way that you would have adjusted for that is you would have adjusted for it in the dark room,
right? Yeah,
but
a little dodging action, right? A little dodging,
yeah, a little dodging, with
yes,
the little,
I know.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm sure that they ordered like they had to do 60 prints,
right?
And they probably didn't care enough one way or the other. So
yeah, well, nowadays you have these amazing. I mean, I'm walking around with a camera in my pocket. It's a pretty freaking amazing.
Oh yeah. No, it's well. The thing is it focuses on multiple planes.
Yep.
It's adjusting. It's adjusting all kinds of light levels on different planes. I mean, photography is nothing like it used to be.
I still go around with my manual camera though and play around with it though.
Yeah.
And I use my Canon that I have. I use the manual setting all the time just because I have fun with it. But my phone, I'm like, been surprised by some of the things I've done with my phone. I'm like, really? It's like, it's okay. Technology is really advanced.
Well, the thing is the phones are actually, they're doing so much more than any of the film cameras did. I mean, we're way beyond. I mean, the thing is we're actually taking pictures that are better than the actual scene itself by far. I mean,
right.
it's by the time you see it, it's modified.
Yes, especially
modified.
like the baby filter on Snapchat.
I'm not talking about the ears, damn it.
Have you seen the baby filter on Snapchat? I'm obsessed with it right now.
Please don't do that. Please
no, I
don't.
found this YouTube channel, and it was Donald Trump with a baby filter over him, and they changed his voice so it was high pitched. And so I was like, how did they do that? So I started looking into it. I'm like, oh, it's a Snapchat filter. I didn't even have Snapchat on my phone, so I downloaded it. And now my kids are obsessed with it. So, but my wife was walking around taking like the baby filter and putting it over pictures. Like, oh, look at my dad as a baby. So anyway,
Anyway,
it's weird. Stuff that's out there is weird.
well. Anyway, you definitely have to see this film.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what was it called?
It's called
His House.
His House.
His House. Yes.
This is my house. Get out.
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. I have to recommend it to everybody.
Wasn't that pretty good?
It was,
mean-
it was really that good. It really was. I was way impressed. So,
You don't
Can
have
I
to
go
stroke
away
my
now?
ego. You can tell me if it sucks.
oh God, don't I tell you you suck enough?
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, so go get Netflix if you don't have it. And watch this.
Yes.
I think it's actually, I still think out of all the horror movies we've seen on Netflix that were done by Netflix Studios, this is by far the
this
best.
is far better than any of those. I have
Better
to
than
say.
any Blumhouse.
Now, I'm gonna go back downstairs and wait for my horn at the door.
Okay. Well, try not to tear down your walls.
See you later.
All right.